Islam is a monotheistic religion that originated in the 7th century in the Arabian Peninsula. It is based on the belief in one God, known as Allah in Arabic. The religion was founded by the Prophet Muhammad, whom Muslims believe to be the final prophet in a long line of prophets, including figures like Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. Muslims believe that Muhammad received revelations from Allah through the Archangel Gabriel, which were later compiled into the Quran, the Holy Book of Islam. The core of Islam is the belief in the oneness of God, and Muslims are required to submit to His will, as guided by the teachings of the Quran and the Hadith, the sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad. Islam teaches that life is a test, and that individuals are accountable to Allah for their actions in this world, and will be judged in the afterlife. Central to Islam are the 5 pillars, which represent the core acts of worship and practice that every Muslim is expected to follow. These include the Declaration of Faith Shahada, which is a testimony that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is His messenger, prayer Salah, which is performed 5 times a day, fasting Sawm, during the month of Ramadan, giving charity Zakat to those in need, and making a pilgrimage to Mecca Hajj, at least once in a lifetime, if possible. Islam is practiced by over 1.8 billion people worldwide, making it the 2nd largest religion after Christianity. The Muslim community is diverse, with followers spread across the globe, from the Middle East to South Asia, Africa, and beyond. The major sects of Islam are Sunni and Shia, with Sunnis forming the majority of Muslims worldwide. The differences between these sects primarily concern leadership and interpretation of Islamic law, but both share a common faith in the Quran and the teachings of Muhammad. Muslims follow a set of ethical guidelines based on the Quran and Hadith, emphasizing kindness, honesty, humility, and respect for others. The concept of halal, permissible, and haram, forbidden, governs various aspects of daily life, from food and drink to social interactions and business practices. Islamic law, known as Sharia, provides a framework for personal conduct, family matters, and criminal justice in some countries. Islamic culture is rich and diverse, influenced by various regions and civilizations. Throughout history, Islamic empires such as the Umayyad, Abbasid, and Ottoman empires have contributed significantly to art, science, philosophy, and architecture. Mosques, Islamic calligraphy, and intricate geometric patterns are prominent features of Islamic art. Scholars of the Islamic Golden Age made significant advancements in fields such as mathematics, medicine, astronomy, and literature. Islam is also a religion that stresses the importance of community, or ummah. Muslims are encouraged to support one another and work together to foster justice, peace, and harmony. This sense of community extends beyond national or ethnic boundaries, making Islam a global religion that emphasizes unity among its followers. In addition to the 5 pillars, Muslims believe in 6 articles of faith: belief in Allah, belief in angels, belief in the holy books, including the Quran, Torah, Psalms, and Gospel, belief in the prophets, belief in the Day of Judgment, and belief in divine predestination. These articles form the foundation of the Islamic faith and guide Muslims in their daily lives and spiritual practices. Islam is a dynamic and evolving faith, with followers interpreting its teachings in diverse ways to meet the needs of contemporary society, while remaining rooted in its traditional beliefs. Despite differences in practice and culture, the central message of Islam remains consistent: submission to the will of Allah and the pursuit of a righteous, just, and compassionate life. The teachings of Islam also emphasize the importance of peace and tolerance. The very word Islam itself is derived from the Arabic word salam, meaning peace. The religion teaches that peace is the ultimate goal, both internally, through submission to Allah's will, and externally, through peaceful interactions with others. While Islamic history has seen periods of war, particularly during the early expansion of the religion, many Islamic scholars argue that the primary aim of jihad, which is often misunderstood, is to struggle for self-improvement and defend one's faith from oppression. Islam also has a rich tradition of spirituality, with practices like Daik, remembrance of Allah, which involves the repetition of specific prayers or phrases to cultivate closeness to God. Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam, places great emphasis on spiritual practices and seeking a personal, intimate connection with Allah through devotion, poetry, music, such as the famous whirling dervishes, and meditation. The family unit is highly valued in Islam, and strong family ties are considered central to a healthy society. Marriages in Islamic cultures often involve both legal and spiritual dimensions, with marriage seen as a contract between a man and a woman, emphasizing mutual respect, rights, and responsibilities. Parents are highly respected, and children are expected to honor their elders. The roles of men and women within the family can vary based on cultural context, but the religion stresses that both men and women have complementary roles and responsibilities. Islamic dietary laws are also important aspects of religious life. Halal foods are those that are permissible under Islamic law, and Muslims are prohibited from consuming items such as pork and alcohol. The dietary rules are seen as a means of maintaining both physical and spiritual purity. Zabiha, the practice of slaughtering animals in accordance with Islamic law, is another key aspect of halal practices. Islam's approach to education has historically been one of high regard, and many great intellectual achievements have been made by Muslim scholars over the centuries. The Quran itself encourages the pursuit of knowledge, and the Prophet Muhammad is reported to have said, "Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim." Islamic civilization has contributed significantly to various fields, including medicine, philosophy, architecture, mathematics, and the arts. One important aspect of Islam is its emphasis on the universality of its message. Islam considers itself not just as a religion for a particular group or region, but as a universal faith for all of humanity. It recognizes a diversity of cultures, races, and languages, but teaches that all people are equal in the eyes of Allah. The Quran speaks about the equality of all human beings and stresses that it is one's actions, piety, and good deeds that truly define a person's worth. Islamic communities often gather for communal prayers, particularly on Fridays, which is considered a holy day for Muslims. The Friday prayer, Salat al-Jumu'ah, is a congregational prayer that takes place just after midday, and it is an important opportunity for the community to come together, listen to a sermon, and engage in worship together. Islam's role in the modern world has been complex, especially in regions where Islamic countries are navigating the balance between tradition and modernization. While some nations follow a form of governance that integrates Islamic law into the legal system, others maintain secular governments with a predominantly Muslim population. Despite differences in the interpretation and practice of Islam, the religion remains a powerful force in shaping global politics, contributed significantly to advancements in art, science, medicine, literature, and architecture, leaving a lasting impact on the world. This historical legacy of intellectual achievement continues to shape the way Muslims engage with the world today. Modern Muslim thinkers and leaders face the challenge of interpreting traditional Islamic teachings in light of contemporary realities. Issues such as modernity, globalization, the role of women, and the integration of Islamic values with democratic principles are the subjects of ongoing debate within the Muslim community. Many Muslim scholars argue that Islam is not inherently in conflict with modernity, and that its core principles of justice, compassion, and equality can offer solutions to some of the pressing challenges facing the world today. Islamic movements across the globe, ranging from reformist to conservative, are constantly adapting to shifting political, social, and economic conditions. These movements often grapple with the need to preserve Islamic identity while navigating the influence of secularism, nationalism, and international politics. For instance, the role of Islamic political thought in various countries has spurred discussion about how Islamic principles can guide the governance of Muslim-majority societies. These debates include discussions about the relationship between religion and the state, the application of Sharia law, and the meaning of democracy in an Islamic context. A major part of the ongoing discourse within the Islamic world centers around the reinterpretation of Islamic texts to address the complexities of the modern world. Scholars of Islamic law, fiqh, and theology, kalam, have long debated the interpretation of the Quran and Hadith, with some advocating for a more traditional or literal reading, while others promote a more contextual and progressive approach. This ongoing scholarship seeks to address pressing issues such as women's rights, economic justice, and environmental stewardship through an Islamic framework. In the broader context, Islam has increasingly become a part of global conversations on human rights, conflict resolution, and intercultural understanding. The global Muslim community, often referred to as the Ummah, continues to navigate the challenges of a rapidly changing world while seeking to maintain unity and cohesion. This is especially evident in the context of global migrations, where Muslims from diverse backgrounds interact in multicultural societies. These interactions often foster greater understanding and tolerance, but can also lead to tensions, particularly in areas where Islam is perceived as foreign or misunderstood. The plight of Muslims in conflict zones, such as Palestine, Syria, Afghanistan, and Myanmar, has brought the global Muslim community together in solidarity. Humanitarian aid, advocacy for justice, and political activism are all part of the ways in which Muslims engage with and respond to such crises. Islamic principles of social justice, mercy, and compassion serve as a foundation for the Muslim response to issues of human suffering, inequality, and oppression. At the same time, Islam continues to be a source of deep spirituality and personal meaning for millions of Muslims around the world. Daily practices, such as prayer, fasting, and charity, provide a framework for developing a strong connection with Allah and cultivating inner peace. Islamic mysticism, through Sufism, offers a path for deeper spiritual insight and a profound sense of closeness to God. Many Muslims turn to the Quran, seeking guidance not only for their religious obligations, but also for personal growth, healing, and self-understanding. In terms of the role of the youth, young Muslims today are finding ways to balance traditional Islamic values with modern expressions of identity and culture. This generation is particularly engaged in global issues such as climate change, social justice, and the quest for equality. The challenges of navigating their identity in a globalized world while remaining connected to their faith are key considerations for young Muslims today. Social media has become a powerful tool for young Muslims to connect with one another, share knowledge, and advocate for change within both their local and global communities. As Islam continues to evolve in the modern world, its adaptability and commitment to its foundational values of justice, equality, and peace remain at the heart of the religion. Despite the challenges, Islam remains a dynamic force, offering its followers a way of life that prioritizes submission to the will of Allah, the pursuit of spiritual growth, and the service of humanity. It provides its followers with a comprehensive framework that encompasses personal ethics, family life, social responsibility, and spiritual devotion. For many, Islam represents not just a religion, but a complete way of life that extends beyond personal belief and individual practice, shaping entire communities and societies. Whether through worship, social work, art, education, or scientific achievement, the contributions of Muslims continue to shape the world in profound ways. The ongoing journey of Islam is one of striving to uphold the core values of peace, justice, and mercy, while meeting the challenges of the present and preparing for the future. In the end, Islam's message of submission to the will of Allah, the importance of community, and the call for justice, peace, and compassion for all people remain timeless. It is a message that resonates deeply with the needs of the modern world and continues to inspire millions of Muslims to live lives of integrity, faith, and service to humanity. Islam's presence and influence continue to grow, not only through its spiritual guidance, but also through its contributions to addressing global challenges. The values of empathy, community service, and social justice found in Islamic teachings have inspired movements and initiatives aimed at improving the quality of life for all people, regardless of their faith or background. This emphasis on collective responsibility is evident in Islamic charity, with organizations worldwide working to combat poverty, provide education, healthcare, and disaster relief, aligning with the principle that caring for others is an essential part of one's faith. In the context of interfaith dialogue, Islam plays an important role in fostering understanding between different religious communities. Muslims believe that all Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, are connected through shared spiritual ancestry. The Quran speaks of respect for the people of the book, referring to Jews and Christians, and emphasizes common moral and ethical teachings. Many Islamic leaders and organizations are involved in interfaith dialogue and collaboration to promote peace, tolerance, and mutual respect. This helps to counter stereotypes and misconceptions about Islam, building bridges between different communities and contributing to global peace efforts. Islamic teachings encourage respect for the natural world, urging stewardship of the earth as a sacred trust given by Allah. Many Muslim scholars and environmental activists today are working to connect Islamic values with environmental sustainability, highlighting the Quranic emphasis on the balance of nature and the duty of humans to protect and care for the planet. The concept of mizan, or balance, is central to this environmental ethic, promoting the idea that humanity must live in harmony with the earth, respecting its resources and avoiding excess. Another aspect of modern Islamic life is the increasing engagement of Muslims in the political and public spheres. Whether in democratic or non-democratic societies, Muslims are involved in political processes, advocating for policies that align with Islamic principles of justice, equality, and the protection of human rights. In many Muslim-majority countries, there are ongoing efforts to balance the Islamic faith with democratic governance. This has led to debates on the role of religion in politics, the application of Islamic law in government, and the need for reform to ensure justice and freedom for all citizens. In terms of education, Islam places a strong emphasis on the pursuit of knowledge. The Quran itself encourages learning and reflection, and historically, Islamic scholars have made significant contributions to a wide array of disciplines, including medicine, astronomy, mathematics, literature, and philosophy. Today, many Muslim-majority countries continue to value education, with an increasing number of young Muslims pursuing higher education and engaging in academic research. Additionally, educational institutions, particularly Islamic universities and schools, play a central role in shaping the future of the Muslim community, offering students the opportunity to study both religious and secular subjects. Islamic art, literature, and architecture are another important aspect of the global Islamic legacy. Islamic art is known for its intricate geometric patterns, calligraphy, and arabesque designs, often serving as expressions of devotion to Allah. In architecture, iconic structures, such as the Alhambra, the Blue Mosque, and the Dome of the Rock, are not only architectural masterpieces, but also symbolic representations of Islamic culture and spirituality. Islamic poetry, especially works by figures such as Rumi and Hafez, reflects deep spiritual and philosophical reflections, exploring themes of love, devotion, and the search for truth. These artistic and literary contributions continue to inspire and influence contemporary culture across the world. The global Muslim community faces unique challenges and opportunities in the modern world. The experiences of Muslims in different countries, including issues of identity, integration, and cultural preservation, are diverse and complex. In some regions, Muslims are part of majority populations, while in others, they live as minorities with distinct cultural and religious practices. The rise of Islamophobia, especially in Western countries, has led to social and political challenges, with Muslims often facing discrimination, marginalization, and suspicion. In response, many Muslim communities have mobilized to advocate for their rights, promote greater understanding, and demonstrate the values of Islam as a force for peace and good in the world. The continued growth of Islam, both in terms of followers and influence, is also linked to the increasing number of people who convert to Islam worldwide. Conversion to Islam, or reversion as it is often called in Muslim communities, reflects the universal appeal of the message of Islam, offering spiritual fulfillment, a sense of purpose, and a connection to a larger global community. The motivations for conversion are varied, ranging from personal spiritual journeys to intellectual exploration and the search for a moral and ethical framework for life. As Islam continues to evolve in the 21st century, it remains a religion of profound spiritual depth and global impact. The challenges faced by Muslim communities, including issues of social justice, political engagement, and integration into diverse societies, are met with a commitment to the core values of Islam: peace, justice, mercy, and compassion. The teachings of the Quran and the example of the Prophet Muhammad offer timeless wisdom that resonates with people of all backgrounds, encouraging Muslims to live lives of integrity, respect, and service to humanity. In conclusion, Islam is not merely a religion practiced by millions, but a comprehensive way of life that guides personal, social, and spiritual growth. It continues to adapt to the demands of a changing world while staying true to its foundational principles. Through its teachings, its rich history, and its vibrant global community, Islam offers a path for individuals to find purpose, seek justice, and work towards creating a more compassionate and peaceful world. Its relevance today, as it has been throughout history, is undeniable, and its message will continue to shape the lives of generations to come. Culture and social movements. Islamic charity, or sadaqah, extends beyond the required almsgiving of zakat and is seen as a voluntary and generous act of giving to others. Muslims believe that their wealth is a gift from Allah and that it should be shared with those in need, regardless of their religion or background. This charitable aspect of Islam plays a central role in promoting social justice and alleviating poverty. Over the centuries, Islam has faced various challenges, including misunderstandings and misinterpretations, particularly in the modern context where issues such as extremism, radicalization, and terrorism are wrongly associated with the religion. However, mainstream Islamic teachings focus on peace, justice, and compassion, and the vast majority of Muslims around the world adhere to these principles. Islamic festivals, such as Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of Ramadan, and Eid al-Adha, which commemorates the willingness of Abraham, to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to Allah, are important moments in the Islamic calendar. These celebrations bring Muslims together in worship, reflection, feasting, and charity. In conclusion, Islam is a complex and diverse faith that shapes the lives of millions of people around the world. It is a religion with a deep spiritual, philosophical, and ethical foundation, rooted in the belief in one God and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. Muslims are called to lead righteous lives by adhering to the principles of justice, compassion, humility, and community. While interpretations and practices of Islam may vary across cultures and regions, its central message of peace, submission to the will of Allah, and respect for others remains the same. Islam continues to be an essential part of the global religious landscape, shaping the lives of its followers and contributing to the world's cultural and intellectual heritage. Islam's role in the modern world continues to evolve, and it remains an influential force in many aspects of global life, from politics to culture, economics to social dynamics. Muslims, despite their diversity in practice and belief, share a common bond in their worship of Allah and adherence to the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. The diverse ways in which Islam is practiced around the world highlight both the universality and adaptability of the religion, which can coexist with different cultures and societies while maintaining its core principles. In recent decades, Islam has faced challenges in the global arena, including rising Islamophobia and misunderstanding of Islamic beliefs and practices. This has led many Muslim communities to engage in efforts to educate non-Muslims about the true teachings of Islam, emphasizing that Islam is a religion of peace, justice, and tolerance. Muslim scholars and leaders have been vocal in condemning extremism, violence, and terrorism, reaffirming that such actions have no basis in Islamic teachings. Many Muslim organizations around the world work to bridge cultural gaps, dispel stereotypes, and build interfaith dialogue. The development of Islamic thought and scholarship continues in the modern era, with Muslim intellectuals addressing contemporary issues through the lens of Islam. Areas such as Islamic economics, political theory, women's rights, and the environment are subjects of ongoing debate and scholarship. Many Muslim scholars work to reinterpret Islamic teachings to address the challenges of the 21st century while remaining faithful to the Quran and Hadith. Women's rights and gender roles in Islam have been topics of significant discussion and reform in recent decades. While some argue that Islamic teachings promote gender equality, others point to the influence of cultural practices in some Muslim-majority countries that may hinder women's full participation in society. Many Muslim women have worked to empower themselves through education, activism, and by engaging in both traditional and modern spheres of public life. Women in Islam are granted rights to education, work, and participation in the community, though their rights and roles can differ depending on cultural context. Islamic finance has also gained prominence in the global economy, with interest-free banking systems and ethical investment principles rooted in Islamic law, Sharia. This approach to finance prohibits interest riba and encourages investments in socially responsible ventures. Islamic banking has grown rapidly in many parts of the world, offering an alternative model to traditional banking practices. Islam is not just a set of beliefs, but a way of life that guides individuals in all aspects of existence. From the way Muslims dress and interact socially to how they conduct business and handle personal relationships, Islam provides a framework for ethical and moral conduct. The religion encourages its followers to seek knowledge, be honest, treat others with respect, and contribute positively to society. Many Muslims are involved in various fields, such as science, art, politics, and social work, contributing to the advancement of society while remaining faithful to their religious principles. Furthermore, the concept of Tawhid, the oneness of God, is fundamental to Islamic spirituality. This belief shapes the worldview of Muslims, reinforcing the idea that everything in existence is interconnected and that all aspects of life should be lived in accordance with God's will. Tawhid extends beyond religious practices and influences how Muslims view their relationship with nature, humanity, and the universe. As the world becomes more interconnected, Islam's influence continues to shape the dialogue on religion, politics, and identity. Many Muslims see their faith as a source of guidance and strength in facing the challenges of modern life, whether personal or societal. Islam's message of unity and peace is vital in a world where global conflicts, injustice, and inequality persist. In a rapidly changing world, Muslims are continually seeking ways to remain true to their faith while navigating the complexities of contemporary life. At its core, Islam remains a religion that calls for sincerity and devotion to Allah, ethical conduct, social justice, and the well-being of humanity. The central message of the Quran, which emphasizes the importance of compassion, mercy, and justice, is as relevant today as it has been for over 1,400 years. Islam, with its deep theological, ethical, and spiritual teachings, continues to offer a pathway to peace, fulfillment, and purpose for its followers. The journey of a Muslim is one of ongoing submission to Allah's will, striving for moral excellence, and working towards creating a just and compassionate society. Thus, despite the challenges that Islam faces in the modern world, its core values and principles remain steadfast, providing a meaningful framework for personal growth, social responsibility, and spiritual fulfillment. The richness and diversity of Islamic traditions and practices ensure that it continues to inspire and guide millions of Muslims around the globe, while its message of peace, unity, and submission to the divine remains a powerful force in the world today. The continuation of Islam's presence in the global stage extends beyond the individual level, influencing a wide array of social, political, and cultural dynamics. While Muslims practice their faith in a variety of ways, depending on their cultural context and geographic location, the essential tenets of Islam remain universal. Over the centuries, Islamic civilization has